She won't text you first, not because she's forgotten you, but because she's waiting to see if you'll break first, if you'll reach out, if your self control will crack under the pressure of her silence. You think she's moved on, but in reality, she's right there watching your stories, checking your online status, keeping track of the subtle signs that you still care. She's not absent, she's observing. And that's what makes this situation dangerous for most men, because they mistake her quiet for indifference. They assume she's detached, that she's done. And in their frustration, they do the one thing that destroys all attraction. They chase, they double text, they call, they post things hoping she'll see. And with every move, they unknowingly confirm her suspicion. You still need her validation, but here's the truth that flips everything. When a woman goes silent, it's not always rejection, it's psychology. She's not pulling away to forget you. She's stepping back to measure your strength. She wants to know what kind of man she's really dealing with, because deep down, every woman knows this truth. A man's true character is revealed when he doesn't get what he wants. When you stop receiving attention, when communication fades, when her warmth turns into cold silence, how do you react? That's what she's watching for. Does your energy crumble? Do you become desperate? Do you start chasing her just to feel relevant again? Because if you do, she instantly knows you were never grounded. You were dependent. You weren't leading with confidence. You were leaning on her attention for emotional oxygen. And once she sees that, the attraction dies. But when you don't react, when your silence meets hers with calm strength, she feels something she didn't expect: respect. That's when her curiosity begins to grow. Because women don't crave control over men, they crave the feeling of being around a man who can't be controlled. And your silence, when it's rooted in self respect, becomes the ultimate test of that truth. You see, she's not texting first because she's trying to win a game. She's trying to understand your nature. Are you the man who needs constant validation to feel valuable, or the man who stays centered no matter what happens? When you hold your frame, when you don't flinch under her distance, when you continue living fully, she feels the shift. Suddenly, it's not you who's waiting for her. It's her wondering why you're not chasing. It's her checking your page, wondering if you've moved on, imagining who you might be giving your attention to now. And that curiosity, it becomes attraction. So no, she's not ignoring you. She's observing. She's studying your silence to see if it's born from strength or from pain. Because if it's strength, she won't be able to resist you for long. Before we start, a quick reminder. My complete Stoic couple course is now live at thestoiccouple.podia.com. If you've been learning from these videos, that's just the surface. Inside the course, we go deeper, mastering attraction, understanding female psychology, and rebuilding your mindset from the inside out. Join once, and you're in for life with lifetime access to all future courses, books, and new lessons. Plus, you'll be part of our private Stoic community, a brotherhood where men like you grow together in discipline, power, and self-control. It's available in English and Spanish, and you can enroll instantly at thestoicoop.podia.com or click the link below. Enroll once, grow forever. Let's begin. Section number 1, why she doesn't text first. The hidden female logic. When she doesn't text first, it's easy to assume she's lost interest. But women rarely operate on logic alone. They respond to emotion, energy, and the way a man's presence makes them feel. Her silence isn't always about distance. Sometimes it's her way of maintaining control in a situation where she feels emotionally exposed. Because what most men never understand is that women crave connection, but they fear vulnerability even more. When she stops initiating, she's not always gone. She's guarding herself. She's trying to protect her ego from the possibility of rejection. Maybe she felt that you were pulling back, that your energy had shifted, or that you were becoming too sure of her. So she flipped the script, not to end things, but to regain the emotional upper hand. You see, women are emotional strategists by instinct. They test balance through distance. When she goes silent, it's not random, it's deliberate. She's studying how you handle uncertainty. She wants to see whether your masculine energy remains calm and grounded or collapses into confusion and chase. Because the truth is, attraction isn't built in the easy moments, it's revealed in the silent ones. Every time she withholds communication, she's measuring the depth of your emotional control. She's not watching what you say, she's watching what you don't do. She's waiting to see if you can hold tension without breaking, if you can remain calm when she's unavailable. Because to her, that's what separates a man of power from every other man who reacts out of insecurity. This is why she might stay silent even when she wants to talk. She's feeding off the polarity your stillness creates. Your composure keeps her curious, your absence keeps her alert, and your mystery keeps her emotionally invested. Because here's the paradox: the more a woman tries to hide her feelings, the more she becomes trapped by them. If she truly didn't care, she wouldn't need to withhold anything. She wouldn't need to test you. She wouldn't be watching what you post, reading your captions, or checking when you're online. Indifference doesn't analyze, curiosity does. Her silence is her way of staying emotionally safe while staying subtly connected. She wants to know if your energy will collapse in her absence or remain untouchable. Most men destroy that attraction by chasing clarity. They try to fix, explain, or beg for communication, all actions that reveal emotional dependency. But the man who stays patient, detached, and quietly focused on his life communicates something rare: certainty. He doesn't try to convince her of his worth. He lets his composure prove it. Because deep down, every woman wants a man who doesn't react to her silence, but responds with presence. The one who doesn't rush to fill the space she created because his peace is louder than her absence. That's why she's not texting first. Not because she doesn't care, but because she wants to see if you still do. Section number 2. What happens in her mind when you stay silent? When you stop reacting, something changes inside her, something she never saw coming. At first, she tells herself she doesn't care. She convinces herself that your silence means nothing, that she's in control, that she's the one setting the tone. She checks her phone out of habit, not expectation, or so she tells herself. But as time passes, that story begins to crack. Because silence, when held by a man who's truly centered, is powerful. It's not passive, it's not revenge, it's presence without effort. And women feel that. It unsettles them in ways they can't explain. When you stay quiet, she starts to feel the same uncertainty she once made you feel. She begins to question her assumptions. Did I push him too far? Has he lost interest? Did I misread his intentions? Those questions, once aimed at you, start turning inward. And here's where the dynamic quietly flips. While you're living your life, focusing on your goals, staying composed, she's in observation mode. She checks your posts, your stories, your activity, but it's not casual anymore, it's searching. She's trying to read between the lines to find traces of the man who once chased her. But when she doesn't find them, that absence creates tension. Because women are emotional creatures, they don't just miss people, they miss energy. And your energy, now withdrawn and focused inward, creates a void she can't ignore. Every man she meets feels predictable, easy to read, easy to influence. But your stillness, it becomes a mystery. It makes her wonder if she ever truly understood you. This is the paradox. When you don't chase, you become chased in her mind. The emotional weight shifts. You go from being predictable to being unknown. And the unknown is always attractive. It makes her brain light up with curiosity, her emotions with confusion, her heart with nostalgia. The same silence she used to control you now controls her. But this only works when your silence is real. You can't fake indifference while secretly waiting for her to text. Women sense that incongruence immediately. They can feel when your quiet comes from pain versus when it comes from peace. The first one pushes them away, the second one pulls them closer. When your silence is calm, when it's filled with discipline and direction, it becomes magnetic. She feels your absence as a form of presence, one that doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't prove. It simply exists. And in that existence, she begins to feel the gravity of your composure. She won't admit it, but that's when she starts to think about you. Not because she misses your attention, but because she misses the way she felt when you gave it. Your silence reminds her of what she lost and who you've become without her. That's how emotional polarity reverses, not through words, but through restraint. Section number 3, the emotional trigger. When she starts to miss you again, it starts quietly. She tells herself she's fine, that she doesn't need to hear from you, that she's focused on herself, that this silence is what's best. But deep down, something feels off. The silence that once felt empowering starts to feel empty. Her world feels quieter now, but not peaceful, hollow. Because the truth is, your absence didn't just remove a person from her life, it removed a feeling. You see, every woman who's been genuinely drawn to a man remembers how he made her feel. It's not about the words you said or the things you did. It's about the emotional frequency you carried, the calm confidence in your tone, the focus in your eyes, the balance between your strength and your restraint. When you pulled away, that energy vanished. And no matter how much she tries to replace it with distractions, friends, or attention from other men, nothing feels the same. That's when the emotional trigger activates. It's not instant. It builds slowly, like pressure beneath the surface. The more she tries to forget you, the more her mind searches for closure. She replays your last conversations, trying to find reasons for your distance. She starts overanalyzing the way things ended, what she said, what you didn't. Every unanswered question becomes a psychological hook, pulling her back toward you. And here's the part she doesn't understand. The more she tries to rationalize it, the deeper she sinks emotionally. Because attraction doesn't live in logic, it lives in emotion. The more she thinks about you, the more she feels you. That's how your silence becomes your presence. While you're out living, improving, building your world, she's sitting there scrolling through memories. Every man she talks to feels predictable, shallow, lacking that quiet strength you carried. They talk too much, try too hard, reveal too quickly. But you've become a mystery again. The same mystery that pulled her in the first time. And that's when she begins to miss you. Not the man she remembers, but the energy she lost. She misses your patience, your balance, your restraint. She misses the calm confidence that made her feel safe even in silence. She misses the feeling of being around a man who didn't need her to feel whole. That's the emotional trigger. When absence turns into curiosity and curiosity turns into longing, it's when she starts realizing that silence isn't rejection. It's revelation. It reveals who truly has control, not the one who speaks first, but the one who stays still long enough for the truth to surface. Because she may not text first, but she's already thinking about you first. And that's the moment her silence begins to lose power, because she's no longer ignoring you. She's missing you. Section number 4. When she comes back, how to respond without losing power. When she finally reappears, it won't be with a grand confession. It'll be subtle. A "hey stranger," a reaction to your story, or a casual message out of nowhere. Don't mistake the softness of her approach for weakness. It's strategy. She's not coming back because she's certain. She's coming back to see if you've changed, to test if your silence came from peace or from pain. And in that moment, your response defines everything. Most men fail here. They overreact, overpraise, or overgive, as if her attention suddenly makes everything right again. But the moment you do that, you destroy the very energy that brought her back, because her curiosity wasn't born from your pursuit. It was born from your absence. The mystery you created is the reason she reached out. So when you rush to explain, confess, or reconnect, You kill the tension that made her chase you. Here's the rule: acknowledge her, but never reward her. Your tone should be light, grounded, and completely unbothered. You respond, but you don't lean in. You let her feel the difference between the man she ignored and the man she's talking to now. Because your goal isn't to punish her, it's to mirror her energy with mastery. If she's casual, you're calm. If she's curious, you're composed. You don't seek validation through long replies, deep talks, or emotional nostalgia. You keep it simple. The fewer words you use, the stronger your presence becomes, and she'll notice it immediately. She'll feel that your emotional tone has shifted, that the man she once thought she understood now feels distant, mysterious, powerful. You're no longer emotionally available on demand. You've become selective, not out of bitterness, but out of growth. That's the moment attraction deepens again. When she feels the quiet tension between her effort and your restraint, she starts trying harder, asking more questions, opening up more, hoping to reawaken what she once had. But what she doesn't realize is that your energy has evolved. You're no longer chasing connection. You're leading it. So when she comes back, don't focus on what to say. Focus on what to be. Be grounded, be slow, be calm. Let your silence fill the spaces her curiosity can't handle. Don't give her closure. Give her contrast. Let her feel the difference between a man who reacts to emotion and a man who commands it. Because when she comes back, she's not looking for validation. She's looking for stability. She's testing whether your peace is permanent. And if it is, she'll feel it instantly. You don't win her back by being emotional. You win her back by being unshakable. Section number 5. When she starts competing for your attention, something changes the moment she realizes you're no longer waiting. She can feel it in your tone, your timing, your presence, the calm steadiness of a man who's no longer seeking validation, but simply living in alignment. You reply slower. Your energy feels lighter. You're no longer proving anything. And that difference shakes her because for the first time, she's not sure where she stands. The man who once reached out first, who used to overanalyze her silence, now feels detached, not in anger, but in peace. And that peace is what pulls her closer. You've reversed the polarity. She's no longer the one being pursued. She's the one trying to re-enter your orbit. She begins to invest more. She starts initiating conversations, complimenting you more, showing signs of curiosity, subtle but unmistakable. She might ask how you've been, mention something that reminds her of you, or bring up an old memory just to feel a spark of connection again. But what's really happening beneath those words is an emotional recalibration. She's adjusting to the new dynamic, one where she's no longer in control of the rhythm. You see, attraction isn't linear, it's energetic. The moment she senses that your attention isn't guaranteed, her emotions start to rise. Not because she's manipulative, but because uncertainty reignites desire. The same man she once felt certain about has become unpredictable again. And unpredictability is magnetic. It's not that she lost interest before, it's that she lost polarity. And your silence restored it. Now she's in the position you used to be, wondering what you're thinking, questioning what you're feeling, checking if you've moved on. That's why she watches your every move, not because she's obsessed, but because she's intrigued. The balance of attention has shifted. You no longer orbit around her. She orbits around your energy. But here's where mastery comes in. You don't let her newfound effort pull you back into neediness. You maintain the balance. You stay warm but detached, present but grounded. She'll feel the shift, that you're giving her access, not dependence. And that's what keeps her hooked. The more she tries to re-engage, the more she'll feel that the version of you she once knew is gone. The man who once needed reassurance now radiates quiet certainty. The man who used to overthink her words now listens with patience. You've become the stillness she didn't know she was craving, and that's when she starts competing. Not for your attention, but for your emotional presence. She wants to feel that connection again, the one that made her feel alive. But now it's on your terms, because the truth is, you never had to chase her. You just had to remember your value. Once you did, she had no choice but to remember it too. Section number 6, how to keep the power. Once she comes back, when she comes back, the hardest thing you'll ever do is nothing. Not because you don't care, but because real power lies in restraint. Every instinct in you will want to drop your guard, to show her how much you've missed her, to prove that you're still the same man who once cared deeply. But if you do that too soon, you'll destroy everything you built in your silence. You see, the reason she's drawn to you again isn't because of what you said. It's because of what you didn't say. It's because you held the line when most men would have folded. That silence, that discipline, that refusal to react. It told her something she didn't expect to feel: safety. It reminded her that you are not controlled by impulse and that your emotions are not cheap. Now that she's back, she needs to feel that same energy again, that quiet confidence, that emotional steadiness, because that's what makes her trust you. She doesn't want to see the man who once begged for her attention. She wants to see the man who learned how to thrive without it. So when she starts re-engaging, texting more, flirting again, maybe even hinting at rekindling what you had, you must remain patient. Let her initiate, let her invest. Don't rush to define what this is or what it means. If she feels that you've already decided she's back, she'll relax into comfort, and attraction dies in comfort. Your job is to stay grounded in the same energy that drew her back in the first place: calm, self-contained, and selective. Show interest without attachment. Give warmth without need. Keep your focus on your life, your mission, your purpose. Because the moment she senses that her return has become your priority, the dynamic flips again. You don't win her respect by being available. You win it by being intentional. She has to feel that your presence is earned, not given away. That's the new standard. Not because you're playing games, but because you've learned to value your energy. You see, attraction is fragile when built on emotion, but it becomes unbreakable when built on discipline. Every time you stay calm when she tests you, every time you remain focused when she tries to distract you, every time you prioritize your peace over her approval, she feels it. That's when admiration replaces curiosity. That's when respect becomes desire. And that's how you keep power, by not needing it. You don't control her through dominance or silence. You control yourself. You stay centered no matter how emotional the situation becomes. That stability is what makes you unforgettable, because a woman can forget a man who chases her, but she never forgets the man who stayed still when she pushed him away. Section number 7, when you become the man she can't replace. There comes a moment, slow, quiet, but undeniable, when she looks at you and realizes she can't reach you the same way anymore. She senses the distance, not because you're ignoring her, but because your energy has evolved. You've become a man she recognizes physically, but not energetically. The softness she used to control is gone. The need for validation has vanished. What's left is calm. The kind of calm that doesn't chase, doesn't rush, doesn't explain. She feels it in your tone, grounded, effortless, unbothered. She feels it in your eyes, focused, observant, alive, but detached. And in that moment, she understands something she never saw clearly before. She didn't lose your attention. She lost access to your peace. You see, at some point, every woman realizes that attention is easy to find, but presence is rare. Any man can text her, compliment her, or show interest, but very few can stay centered in silence, can love without attachment, can hold tension without breaking. And you've become that man. The man who no longer gives his energy freely, who doesn't depend on her response to feel validated. The man whose world moves with or without her. That's when you become irreplaceable. not because she can't find someone else, but because she can't feel someone else the way she felt you. Your silence has changed frequency. It's no longer absence, it's power. It's the mark of a man who has mastered the hardest art of all, self control. When she compares others to you, it's not the looks, the words, or the gestures she misses. It's the calm. It's the security that came from your restraint. It's the subtle confidence that made her feel both safe and challenged. Every man after you will either try too hard or care too little, but none will match the stillness of your balance. And that's the paradox of growth. The moment you stop needing her is the moment she starts feeling your value. You no longer stand in her story. She now stands in yours. The roles have reversed. She's the one watching now, wondering if you still think about her, if your silence hides emotion or evolution. But it doesn't matter because you're no longer performing for her approval. You've stepped into your purpose, and that's when you become unforgettable, not as the man she lost, but as the man she awakened, the man who transformed her silence into his strength, the man who understood that control isn't about dominance, it's about peace. Because the moment you learn to lead your emotions, no one can lead you through theirs. That's the final shift. When she realizes you've become everything she wanted, just not for her anymore. At some point, you stop caring about who texts first. You stop checking your phone, replaying old conversations, or wondering what she's thinking because you realize it was never about the messages. It was about the mirror. Every silence, every pause, every unanswered text wasn't rejection. It was reflection. It showed you where your worth was rooted in her response or in your own peace. And when you finally choose peace, everything changes. You stop chasing clarity from her and start building purpose for yourself. You stop needing her validation and start commanding your own presence. That's when you understand the truth every strong man eventually faces. The world doesn't reward emotion, it rewards composure. The man who can stay calm in chaos, who can love without losing himself, who can walk away without hatred, that is the man who wins in the long run. Because she's not testing your patience anymore. Life is every ignored message, every quiet moment, every temptation to react. Is life asking you one question? Have you mastered yourself yet? And when you answer with silence, with discipline, with direction, that's when the universe starts moving things in your favor. Not because you played a game, but because you learned control. So let her watch. Let her stay silent. Let her wonder if you still care. Because the truth is, you do care, just differently now. You care about your purpose, your peace, your growth. You care about becoming the kind of man who doesn't just attract women, but commands respect. You no longer chase what's running away. You attract what aligns with your energy. You no longer need to prove your worth. Your calm does that for you. And the irony,